back to Terror and Chill. My name's Nisha, and this is a pick a card reading to find out what will your next job be like. I've got 4 groups for you to choose from today. Group 1 is the Death card. Group 2 is the Sun. Group 3 is Judgement. And Group 4 is the Three of Wands. Please pause the video now if you need to take a moment to make your choice, otherwise I will see you in your reading. All the timestamps will be below. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment to let me know how it resonated for you, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in your reading. Okay, if you chose Group 1, your next job is either not going to last more than a day, or you're not going to find one actually. I just feel like you're not going to find one maybe for a decade. For somebody, I'm sorry, this came up recently, but it's like medical malpractice. And you've been a doctor and you're maybe a bit older and you're not like going senile, but that might be your excuse. But you're maybe doing something like anesthesia and you just keep killing people and you've killed like 27 people. And it's enough is enough and you're never getting another job, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, you're just not getting another job if you've been working in medicine and doing it really badly. It's just no, it's like a straight up hell no. I feel like there's some industry that you might be trying to get into that's dead, and it's not for sale anymore. Nobody wants to buy that anymore. Say if you're making like CD players or something in the 2000s, and then the 2010s come around and nobody's really liking CDs anymore because they started MP3 streaming in the 2000s and they've just completely got rid of their CD collection to downsize, and they don't even have books anymore because they read it on a tablet. So I feel like you might be doing something that's just out of order and nobody wants it fixed, just nobody cares. And you might have a bit of a strong reaction where you just lie down and do nothing. Someone you might be taking part in the lying flat movement, where you just decide to say fuck it, you don't want a job, you're not ever getting a job. Maybe your mum just has no job and your dad doesn't have a job, but you've got some inheritance from someone who died 4 generations ago. So yeah, you don't have a job and you don't need to get a job. Someone you make music and you've made music since you were small. Your music's only going to make you a tiny income. It's a really small job. And I really do feel like people will not be particularly good to you as a result of it. They're honestly just going to be really mean to you anyway. You're making music and doing a concert and somebody's just being horrible for the sake of it because they're in a bad mood. So I do feel like that might be a bit dead for you anyway. It's you do it still, but you don't feel like you ever get your crown. You don't feel like you get winnings or anything. You just do it and you get £10 when you busk or something. You're just busking on the street and some people give you a £5 here and there and you play your trumpet. You play your saxophone, you play your piano, you play your guitar, you play your violin, just to try and make ends meet a bit more. Someone you're a mother and you have a child. There's been a death in the family or your husband's left you and you don't know how to make money. It might need to be grave digging or something, to be honest. It seems like lots of people are going to die. The economy's going to be bad and you might have to go into something like grave digging or being a cremator or being an embalmer or funeral sales or will writing for somebody. Will sales, selling people wills. Yeah, trying to sell people on something that's maybe a bit dark and depressing, something to do with death, a death solution. Funeral home or old age home or something like that. It's something coming through about death and it's just not very nice. It's the end of life solutions, and maybe a care home where someone stays until they die maybe is what someone can do with their house. It's just for loads of people to just wait there for death. I feel there's a really weird energy about someone who works in a nuclear power plant as well, and it's really good for you. It's the best job you can get, but you're really scared. You're so scared, you really like the planet and you're worried about the nuclear plant being bad for the planet. But actually I feel it's a good job for you. It's the best job you could ever get. And it feels you maybe have already got that job. It feels you might just stay there till you die. Someone, your job is a kind of job where for you it's personally good, and you might be someone who other people are oh, you really work at a nuclear plant. Someone you might work in euthanasia. I know that's legal in is it Switzerland? Maybe that's going to be legal more places and that's going to be your job. Really sorry, I know loads of you just want me to stop giving this reading because you're like really spoiled girls who don't realize life is going to be about like maybe death and like, sorry, it's something a bit shit that you get to do. It's like cleaning up shit or a waste plant or something. Like, that's the job for you. For someone, it's like cleaning the water so it's nice, like sewage works. So it can be lovely and it's like actually helpful for people in the planet, but it's just loads of people who are gross about it. Like, yuck, you're a bin man. And it's like for them to just not have work in the future, actually. Somebody, this is a nice message. You do something, it's like light work, like you're maybe a priest or an imam. You could be a reader or something, but I just don't really feel like it's going to be a nice message to. I just don't really feel like it's good to pass on that to most readers because they really just think that it's for them to make people feel better and it's not really what it's about. It's more like you're not really like a tarot reader or something. Maybe you are. But it's like you read animals and you read people. And maybe you're just walking one day and you go to a field and there's like a sick horse. And you just give the horse like a piece of food and that really helps the horse. Or maybe the horse is really angry and the horse is trying to kick you. And you're like a horse whisperer and you say the right words to the horse to calm the horse down. I feel like you may have special light work skills like that for you. It's just like a calm down, don't worry about it. Or like giving the right words to the right people or saying a prayer at someone's funeral. Like if you are a priest, I feel like you're not going to be out of work ever. Because someone's always going to want to marry, someone's always going to be dying. There's always going to be a funeral you can go to and say a prayer. Even if you don't get paid, it's still like a job where you can feel appreciated. And for some people, it's just not really their thing. Like they can't do it and they shouldn't do it. For you, I feel like you'd work even for free because you maybe don't have rent to pay because you live in the church and you have food donations from people you just don't eat all day. You just don't really mind. It feels like you've got one of those auras where you don't really mind like dealing with death and people's grief, and you can be a grief counselor. And you can go and say some prayers when a baby's born and bless the baby. So it feels like for you, you've got something that others don't have, and it's one, being flexible, and it's two, just like doing what you need to do without it being for money. So like your job is existing every day and it's doing something like saying prayers, trying to combat the deathly dark feeling in your universe. It feels like loads of people are losing their jobs, loads of people are really poor, loads of people's children are going hungry, loads of people just can't be bothered to deal with their children. And I feel like you maybe have a purpose that's like helping those who need help in some slight way. Like, I don't know, maybe you can offer them shelter in your house and make a homeless shelter in your house where you charge people like £5 a day and they can come and sleep in a little small room, like a box room where there's just like a single bed and enough room for a rucksack and you get a shower and food. For someone, I really feel like you have two buildings that you're not really using and you can sleep in one, like maybe you can sleep in the basement of one and have like a homeless shelter that really is coming through, or like, yeah, like a shelter for people who are really sick and dying. Not if you're a disgraced doctor, that's not for you. You just need to go to prison if that's you or something. I'm going to be honest, there's not really very many nice messages coming through for this group because I don't think you need it. And I think some of you are going to get a job as like an abattoir. Like, unfortunately, it's like slaughtering animals, or you're going to get a job as an assassin. And you won't know how important your job as an assassin is, but it's like very fucking important. Might work for a secret services agency and you just come through like the death angel. It feels like you're going to be doing something that might be like murder. I don't know if you're like a hired hitman, but hey, the economy is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. And I feel like you're like that death dude who comes and brings death, or you're the person who comes when someone dies and says a prayer and tries to lift everyone's spirits, or you're the person who stops people from dying on the street, or maybe you sing a song that makes people feel less dead, but some people say it's dead and they hate you and they just want to hit you because you're singing and they feel depressed and miserable. Or, oh, it's such a sad time. This feels like a sad economy time. And I do feel like something's coming through about the soil and the water. Somebody might want to go into something like dealing with like it's like investigating. This is for someone who's particularly specialist. It's like something to do with the fish are dying and like just coming to the top of the water. And your job will be something like investigating why that's happening. or the trees are just dying, or I don't know, it's like the animals are dying. It's honestly so sad. Like people just keep dying, and it's going to be your job to investigate like what is in the water, like who's put what in the water, what is it? It's like a nuclear power plant nearby and it's like leaking into the water. That's coming through, there's like a factory and it's leaking and it's disturbing the earth, and someone's job is really, 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 really important, and it is looking into it and like figuring out what's wrong. That's your job. Look into nuclear power plants nearby and like chemistry. There's something to do with like the chemistry of the ground and like the chemistry of what's being pumped into the ground, and it is like a factory or something. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, but thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment to let me know how it resonated for you. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and check out the other content on my channel if you're interested. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. If you chose group 2, your next job is not going to feel like a job, and I'm tempted to just say you don't have to work because your daddy's rich or something. Like for somebody, no offense, I'm not mad at you, like you're just really lucky and privileged and you just don't need to watch this reading or any other reading about money or anything like that because your life is sunny and you just don't have to worry. So, oh, how lucky. And for someone who's like that, like you grew up from money, you have like a horse and you do like horse riding and you just never have to worry in life ever, and you can do horse riding and get money from it, even like professional horse riding, competitive horse riding. You can just have a lovely life, and I feel like it's really lucky for you. You're charmed, you're privileged. You should come for personal readings because I feel like it's a bit unfair for the rest of us to share your readings if you're really rich. But also, I'm still going to read for you when you come through because I still like you. You're good people still. I'm not mad at the rich. I don't think the rich should have to stress. Like, why should you have to stress? You're rich. Enjoy your life, darling. Enjoy your life. Somebody, I feel like you might be going into animal care or child care. Like, maybe you're going to be a nanny. Maybe you're going to be like a pet sitter. You just look after someone's pet cat and it doesn't feel like work because you just go around to their house and their cat's really nice and you get to watch their TV and eat their snacks and it's just like a really nice time. Or maybe you get to bring your own snacks and you like their house. For someone, you could be doing something that's just like for the fact that it's natural for humans to do it, and it's like just taking care of the land. Like you might live in a way that your mortgage is paid off. You don't really need anything because you grow fruit in your garden and you're not like born rich or anything, but you are at the same time because your life is richer than most people's. Because you don't need money. You don't need no money because you just got all the resources you need. You've got food, you've got a place to stay. Even if you sleep outside, I feel like someone might live somewhere like in a tent in the garden or in a camper van, or they might just like live outside because it's a warm country and you just like sleep in the desert, in the nude. Like you sleep in the middle of the forest and you just find fruit. Like a natural human. Oh, it's so relaxing and lovely. Like you just don't need to worry about a job. Your job is just to make sure the animals you pass by are okay, and make sure that you find a way to make sure the flowers look nice and pick up any rubbish that anyone else has left. Your job is simple and just happy and exactly what it should be. I really do feel like you might just get a time off work, you guys watching this group. Even if you're not like, oh, someone could be a farmer and it doesn't feel like work to you. And I'm hearing that for builders as well. And for people who are working with animals and children, like in schools. Just doesn't feel like work to you because you take it as like a responsibility and you enjoy the process. Like someone's a bricklayer and all you would want to do all day is lay bricks. Like it's just what you want to do. Like you would do it for fun. You would just build brick structures in your garden because you feel like it's fun. So yeah, I really feel like this energy for this group is that whatever you feel most fun doing, it's probably what you're going to be doing, and it doesn't have to pay. But it's just kind of like what you do. You might be entertaining others. Maybe you're a dancer or a comedian or an actress or an actor or somebody who just tries to make everyone happy everywhere you go. Like you're just that like funny person. You're always trying to bring people joy. Maybe you do something like art, cartoon art, paintings, and you sell them to people and they just find it happy, and it doesn't have to make you much money. But it just feels like you do something that makes the world pretty and happy and cute and cuddly and cozy. For someone, you could be manufacturing fabric and helping people to dress better. You could be like a personal shopper and you love shopping and it's like not work for you. Like, you mean you get paid to go shopping? Yes, you get paid to go shopping. For someone, you do have children and it's your sweet little child is the only thing that needs your attention. You could not worry about anything else. Like your partner may just make sure you can just stay home. Maybe you're on maternity leave. And it's not good for you to think about your next job because your job is to take care of your sweet little baby. I want to say it's your son. Your son requires your attention and your job is just to look after your son. Give your son all the love in the world and maybe to look after your partner as well to make sure they're okay. I'm not just maybe, but if you do have a partner, yeah, your job is to look after your partner and make sure, I want to say, he's okay. And also I feel like there is something to do with like fabric or textiles. For someone, you might just be like selling things you just made in your spare time and you don't even see it as, again, like it's not a job to you, it's a hobby. Like you just bought fabric once and you made a dress and you sold it and someone loved it and then they commissioned you to make another dress and you were like, well, hey, why not? Why not make another dress? Someone, you could be a high fashion model and you get to keep going abroad. Someone, you could be a tailor and you find there's lots of customers who just don't have clothes that they like and they want you to make clothes. You might live somewhere sunny like Eritrea or Jamaica, and I feel like you make your own. I'm also hearing someone in Kazakhstan is a tailor, and you make really different clothes that suit the wearer. It's like suited to their personality. And they even want their children to have clothes made by you, and it's like more affordable than them buying clothes from the fast fashion shops, and the quality's better. And I feel like someone, you might also be like a rider or a driver or something like that. Like you might ride a school bus or a taxi service, and I feel like you enjoy it. You could be like a rickshaw driver or something, and you just really like it because you get to be outside biking or something like that. Someone could even be a delivery driver, and you just find it's really enjoyable to get to just meet people like, hey, here's your food, and they're always so happy with you, and then you're like, oh, thanks for the tip, and then you just go off on your way and you get to work maybe during the summer. I'm seeing someone do that. It's like delivery on foot or on the bike. And you get a tan and you're always in the sun and people are always really thankful. And they always want to hug you because they're so grateful that you brought their food early and it's still warm and it's like really nice for you and you feel like it's not even work. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the reading. This feels like really nice. And if you are rich and you have daddy's money and you don't have to work, please come for personal readings. So anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Leave me a comment to let me know how it resonated for you. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And check out the other content on my channel if you're interested. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you again soon. Bye. If you chose group 3, it feels like there's a lot of people out of work at the same time. And I do feel like it might take you a long time to find a job and you might feel really, really, really frustrated sometimes that you just feel like you're like at the back of the queue. There's maybe other people who've been, like say with recruitment agencies and things like that, I feel like there's other people who check in every day and say, have you got work yet? 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 And you're one of those people who's maybe a bit quiet and you maybe just leave a message and don't follow it up. And I do want to say it's annoying and it's too much work to find work. But I want to say for someone, you've been like aging while you've been out of work and you haven't noticed there's like little kids that grew up and turned 16 and you're competing with them as well now. It's like you just need to get up and get something, and I feel like you might have to just take whatever you're offered right now. And I also feel like you might have to accept like benefits or government assistance alongside everyone else who's also trying to get work and doesn't get enough benefits or government assistance, especially if you live in the UK. And I feel like there might be an announcement about something like basic universal income. If you're from abroad, it's not going to be for you. Don't even bother trying to come. So sorry, there's no work for anyone in the UK. So I would recommend don't even try and travel abroad. Like for someone, you could do something like go and live in the Swiss Alps and just not bother to work ever again and just like camp in the Swiss Alps forever to avoid this kind of situation where you're begging for assistance or competing with everyone else for like a computer programming gig that's like one job for 20,000 experienced computer programmers to compete for. And I do feel like it's that kind of economy where you do have to try and make yourself seen over everyone. For someone, I feel like you're trying to make your appearance good to get a job, but it's just not really enough because your energy's not as good as like a 16-year-old. You might be like someone who's thinking, I've got no experience, but I'm like 25 and I think I'm quite pretty and I can just maybe look the part. But your energy's not as charming as someone who's like 16 and a school leaver, and you don't make as much sense. It's like, what were you doing for the last 12 years? And for you, it's like the one industry you could do is like maybe try and do hair and makeup and stuff like that, but it feels like no one has money for it right now, so you might have to just like figure out what you're going to do, and maybe it's like holiday planning, or honestly there's something that's coming through for somebody For somebody who's trying to get a job but you look like a model and it's just not really giving for you. And it's not the one who thinks she looks like a model but doesn't, like you're 5'4" and you're not meeting the height criteria. Someone who you're like the right height, like you're a man and you're 6'3", and everyone stares at you everywhere you go but they just don't give you a job. Feels like you should try and be a model. And there's someone who's a great musician, you're like a not quite famous yet, or maybe you are famous. You could be someone like, I'm going to just shout out the sort of musicians who you could be similar to. You could be someone who's like Digga D and you make music like Toxic, and it's like people don't always want to hear that kind of music. It's kind of offensive to certain people or judgmental to certain people. Like if you've heard my song Solo, it's kind of like telling people to stop trying to swipe on Tinder and find a match and probably work on their own personality instead. Those kind of songs where they're judgmental, I feel like you're a musician and you make music that's like wagging your finger at people. You could also make gospel, but it could be like gospel that's set to like heavy metal instrumentals and it's like God screaming at people. I made a song at uni with some classmates and the group's called The Bobble Hats. I don't really like the group name, but anyway, the song's called Burning Fuel and it has the chorus that's like, the galaxy's revenge, while you're burning fuel, I'll be burning you. It's like for someone, your energy is like you're really speaking from Allah, like you're speaking from God to people, and you're giving them music that some people boo to, and they think, "Boo! I hate this. It's judging me. It's criticizing me." And other people are like, "Please, more. The voice of the same. Please give us more." And I feel like you're gonna make a lot of money from your music, but that's not the point for you. Like you just don't care. You do it because you're guided to do it. You do it because you're told to do it. You do it because you have a song to sing. You do it because you feel really easy about it. It's like it doesn't even matter if it's mixed or mastered or planned. Like you just start singing on the street maybe. You could be a preacher. You could be an imam and you start singing. You just start like performing the Quran, like reciting the Quran in the middle of public. And people start saying, please help me. What should I do? What should I do? And you end up giving people spiritual messages and guidance. And I feel like that's the kind of thing you're doing. If you're a tarot reader, most of you are just doing the same thing as each other and you're not going to get any attention. But those of you where you don't mind reading deaths and you don't mind telling people to fucking get a job, or you're not going to get a fucking job because everyone else can't get a fucking job, those of you who do the really, really rude, judgmental, criticizing you, wagging your finger at them messages, you're going to get a bigger platform and your readings will be heard by people. And again, the point is not money for you. It's just like what you feel like you have to do. Like you feel obliged to do it. It's more like, oh, for God's sake, why don't you get it? And if you're a preacher, it's like you just start screaming at people like, prostitutes, stop spreading disease. You spread disease, you're going to die. Everyone going to die. And you're asking something like that and you just keep shouting at them and trying to help them. And eventually they get on their knees and they just pray. And I feel like it's fucking humane and it's like higher than you. And it's higher than everyone else on earth and you're just doing it because you have to. I also feel like at work, you might have a job where you've got some like dead asleep manager who comes and gives you instructions every day and they have like 6 people in their team. Maybe they're giving you all the same list of customers to chase and you're all phoning the same customer. I feel like someone has like a call center job. And you're phoning the same customer and there's like 12 people phoning the same customer on the same day. And 12 people who don't get a phone call because you're all trying to phone the same customer. And it's not your fault, but it feels like you're going to have to like catch the responsibility for it with the customer when the customer starts like swearing at you. Like, for fuck's sake, this is the 11th time I've received this phone call today. No, I'm not interested in whatever you're selling. And it's the kind of thing where it's for you not very good. Unless you kind of check in with your colleagues and do your manager's job for them. And I'm really sorry to say that, but it's like they're trying to manage too many people. You're going to find it chaotic and clumsy and stupid. And like you're boxed into a little cubicle every day and everyone else's noise is like blah, 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 in the background when you're trying to listen to the customer and you can't hear the customer because you can hear other customers like on the end of the phone. And I'm sorry it's not chill today. It's like quick to the point. But I feel like for you, what you might benefit from doing is going around your colleagues at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day if you've got your list for tomorrow already and saying, yo, can we just like check in with each other? Like, can I see your list? Can you just all give me your list? I'm going to go through the spreadsheet. I'm going to go and like Control F, a search for every single customer name and every single case ID And I'm going to see which ones we've already dealt with, and I'm going to make a new list, and I'm going to separate the list because the manager's shit. And that kind of thing's going to get you a promotion because the other colleagues are just like, help, help, miss, sir, to the manager. And you're just going to be like, hey, manager, I fixed the list. This is what's going on. Can you just please do this yourself next morning or give me extra money? I'll come in an hour early and I'll do this job for you. Like, I'll schedule everyone's shifts for you. I'll go through the list of customers and separate it because I could just check this in an hour. Like, it takes me an extra hour a day. So if you pay me for 1 extra hour, I'll just do it for you. I do feel like you might have to like hassle people to get you in the door, like hassle recruitment agents, hassle the person who's doing the interview, even to say like, hi, I'm just checking up with you. I'm just wondering if you've decided about whether you want to hire me or not. I feel like you might have to keep hassling customers as well. Like, you might be chasing debt. And they just don't have it. Like, they just don't have money and they're threatening suicide if you keep chasing them to ask them for their money that they owe because they bought 2 pairs of Louis Vuitton shoes and 2 Louis Vuitton bags instead of paying their rent. Like, you might work for like a landlord or a housing association. You're phoning people like, hello, Mrs. Jones. Your rent arrears have now gone up to £16,000. Have you got any money you can pay? And she's like, no. But if you see Mrs. Jones's YouTube, it's her doing like designer luxury reviews. You might just feel so sick of people that you just want to shout at them. I do feel like if you live in the UK especially, this is coming through, you might just be protesting and like harassing the government. Someone you might work in government, you might be promoted. You might be one of those people who has to like, attention, just to let you know that the minimum wage will be raised from £12 an hour to £12.60 an hour starting from tomorrow. Okay, bye. It feels like you're one of those people who like passes on messages, and some people want to react like, what the fuck, bruv? It's only 60p more an hour. And someone else will think, thank you. Finally, I love you. Thank you. Thank you. And someone will be like, yeah, that's cool. But what else are you going to do? What are you going to do about my kid's eye test being too expensive now? It's not free anymore. And I feel like you have to deal with too many people. You have to share messages with them. And it feels like there's some that are more priority than others, and you just have to get to it when you get to it. And I do really feel like someone works in government and you're very important and you're trying to see what to do about like the 99%. And I feel like you're just going to have to try and figure it out. But it's going to be hard. Like, there's going to be always people who complain at you. Even if you're doing a really good job, I feel like if you do work in government, you actually are doing a really good job. But it's just like people don't know the budget you're dealing with. Like, if you maybe showed them your budget and said, so what we've got is minus £12 million a year, and what you're all asking for is going to cost 17 billion a year. So actually we can't afford to do that, but what we've got to do is take away your free school for your kids. Sorry. Also taking away your free eye tests and your free medication. Sorry. Also gonna just pay you universal basic income. And yes, you still have to pay tax from that. But also, yeah, we're just not going to do pensions or benefits anymore. Like, you know, you got a child, we're not paying you extra for your child, you know. Did you ever think about just not having a child? But anyway, here's £40,000 a year. Spend it how you like. Hopefully you don't spend it on drugs. I just really feel like you might have to, like, send people kind of difficult messages sometimes. And maybe sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad. You might have to be telling people their loan's not approved, or their credit card application's been denied, or they've gone overdrawn, and you might have to say, oh, we're coming to repossess all your stuff. And sometimes you might have to phone someone and say, hello, you're owed a tax refund. Oh, I'm so happy to say your loan's been approved. Yes, you can be approved for credit. Yes, I do have some accommodation for you. Yes, I do have a job for you. So it feels like sometimes people are really grateful, and it does make the job worth doing. And you can see the bigger reason, like you have a big reason for your job. And someone, I feel like you might want a big job, but you just need to accept whatever small job, because you are competing with people who are going to turn 16, 17, 18, and there's no preference for you being like 30. It doesn't make you better or worse, actually. So just try and take what you can get. I would say loads of people are at work. Loads of people need a job. If you are in a position of responsibility where you can get things to people, just try and make sure you're seeing everyone and responding to the right people. It's a bit difficult. I'm not going to tell you your job's easy, your job's really hard. Whatever job you do, it's hard, and if you're unemployed, it's hard. And if you're making music, I feel like your music's going to be received well, at least by some people. And if you do something like performance art that's kind of got a religious undertone or like a spiritual undertone, I feel like that's also going to be very valuable and important. And if you're like a Christian priest or something, or an imam or a preacher, I feel like that's also going to be really important. If you do speeches that are really amazing, like the governess of Barbados does really dope speeches. I really like those speeches. I feel like you might do those kind of speeches where people are like, yes, more. You might be like getting people riled up to go and stand outside the government office and like complain about things and get all together and complain at the landlord and complain at the job or like strike. So I feel like it's really amazing. You might be taking part in something that's like changing for a generation. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the reading. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment to let me know how it resonated for you. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and if you'd like a personal reading, get in touch. The information will be below. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye. I chose group 4. Your next job is going to involve communicating with a lot of people. And it seems a bit remote, like you might be working remotely and answering messages, and the messages might be about shipments and deliveries and packages being received, or things that are in the future. It could be also arranging travel for people, arranging meetings for people, arranging for other things to happen that are not to do with you but to do with someone else. Like you could be a virtual personal assistant or a virtual travel advisor, or even like an in real life advisor or something like that. But it feels like you deal with things that are kind of far away from you, like it's nothing to do with you personally, but you're just kind of like there to oversee and make sure everything goes well. For someone, you could be in shipping, like you could actually be having a job that's starting, I feel like it's starting in a few months and it's on a ship. It could be something to do with delivering products, or it also could be like a passenger ship. You could be doing something like entertaining or customer service, but it seems more behind the scenes, like making sure that there's like enough oil on the parts that need oil, like mechanical engineering on the ship, or something that's like making sure the ships are docking okay, or working in a lighthouse to make sure that the ships are safe. Could be like air traffic control, like rather than being a pilot. You could be a pilot, but you could also be the air traffic controller. Or you could be just like a travel agent that tells people, yes, sir, that flight to Hawaii is still available next December. I can book that for you now if you'd like. Or like checking, like, oh, let me just check and see if your deliveries come, madam. Like a receptionist or a security guard for a building. And if it is like a receptionist or a security guard, I feel like there's hardly ever anyone who comes. Like there's hardly ever any deliveries. You might have 3 per day. It's like one at midday, one at 3 p.m, one at 3:45. And you can see on the schedule when the deliveries are coming. And after a few days, you just learn like nobody comes to this building, do they? It's like nobody needs you. Nobody needs to ask you anything. You just have to stand there. And maybe once upon a time, there was like one person who comes in. It's like, hello, do you know where the bathroom is? You just have to check their pass and say, yes, it's just on the 2nd floor. Just go up those stairs right there and it's just on your left. Okay, have a great day. It feels so easy, and you do have to communicate with people, but it's mostly email or phone calls. Like maybe someone phones the reception desk and says, all right, I've got a delivery I need to come in tomorrow. I just want to make sure I've got a pass to the building. Just my name's so-and-so. Can you just arrange me a pass? And you're like, yeah, no problem. I've got your pass arranged now, sir. So it's a really easy job for you, and you find it quite nice, and it feels like the day goes quickly. For someone, you might work nights as like a steward at a festival or something, and it's just to like stand there. And you're just waiting for daylight to come, and when daylight comes, it's your time off, and you get to do what you want to do. I do feel like you might need to dress warm. You might be standing around outside. Sometimes, like waiting for a delivery to come, and you might need a coat that's really warm, and I feel like you might also have to take a few different jobs. Like there might be a temporary job starting soon, and something more permanent starting in 3 months, and something that's only 3 hours a day, and something that's like 3 days a week. So I feel like you might need 3 jobs, and you might need to stay with something that you're already doing, or stay with something that's kind of behind you now that you've like planned to leave. And I also feel like you might have not finished with like, say, a shop you were running. It feels like someone was selling something, like maybe say, for example, if it's like lipsticks, Maybe you haven't said to the factory, look, I'm not going to be making lipsticks anymore. Please don't ever produce any more of those lipsticks. I just want to sell the ones I've already got. Maybe you haven't said to the customers, I can't fulfill your orders of lipstick. Sorry, I can't afford to. I'm going to refund you your money. And maybe you haven't got like the communication with the customers to say, I'm sorry, your order's really late. I'm still going to ship it to you. We're closing down. But I will get you your order. It feels like you haven't like shipped the final orders or done something to finish it, and it still wants to get you back and just say, well, look, you've got 6 lipsticks left. Why don't you just sell the 6 lipsticks because you don't have a job? Eventually they're going to sell. It feels like it is maybe something to do with selling, but it's not very active. It's not like you're phoning people aggressively. It's more like you're waiting for them to phone you and then just saying, no problem, your order's been placed. It will be with you in 3 days. And it's like that kind of thing where you work for IKEA and you're just planning the deliveries and you just phone the delivery driver and say, hi, I've got a delivery for you that you need to do tomorrow at 2 p.m. Is that okay? Here's the address. Or you're phoning a customer and saying, sorry, your delivery driver's 16 minutes late. He's going to be here at approximately this time. I'm so sorry. It feels like really easy communication, like no one's ever annoyed with you. Because they don't have any reason to be, that you're just passing on messages. Like I do see something like PA, secretary, receptionist, and it is just like passing on 3 phone call messages a day and like telling people there's a delivery, they need to come and collect it. Like maybe concierge for business or a building. And you're just the person who's like maybe a host for a restaurant as well, something like that, or a shopkeeper and no one ever comes in the shop. I'm seeing for someone it's a drive-through restaurant. And you're just there to do the order. You don't actually have to cook it or anything. You just wait for somebody to come and you say, no problem, I've made your order placed for you. Don't worry, that's this much money. Drive forwards now. And that's literally all you have to do. Maybe they even place the order through a self-service machine and nobody actually comes and talks to you because you just like work the till. Feels like really peaceful and chill and you get headspace to think about other things. And I'm seeing the hours of day as either like evening and you start working around sunset, or you finish working around sunset, or you finish working around daylight, like when the day comes up. So it feels like a really nice, chill day at work every day. And you might have different jobs that you do. I feel like someone might do something like Uber Eats or Deliveroo, and it's just like whenever you find there's a shift that comes up. Might not get much money. It might be like $3 per time that you do something, like a runner for a supermarket, and you're just like having to maybe speak to the person who packages the order at the supermarket and tell them that there's an order that's come in, and then tell the delivery driver that the order's ready. So it feels like you're maybe like in a takeaway and you work for someone like KFC and you're not the chef, you're not taking the money, you're not taking the payments. You're literally just shouting, there's an order for a hamburger. Order number 600 ready. And that's literally all you have to do all day. It's like loads and loads and loads of communication. And you have to be on time, but others are maybe late sometimes. You just have to wait for them to turn up. Like maybe the order number 600 person doesn't come and collect her order. You have to keep shouting, order number 600. Order number 600. 600. 600. And then she waves to you and comes. It's like just like a fun, normal job. So anyway, I feel like the money's not amazing, but you might have 3 jobs that you do and that makes your salary better. And you just don't care for a few months. I'm seeing you just like wearing whatever clothes. Like I'm seeing you just like dressing like a hobo. Because you got no one to impress and maybe you don't even see any colleagues. Like maybe you're just literally standing at a train crossing site and making sure the light is always working 24/7. Or like standing there on a construction site supervising to make sure that the construction site is safe. No one ever asks you anything, you just stand there. Like you literally just stand there, maybe you stand there in a hazmat jacket with a light and you just hold a light, like you just hold a flashlight. It seems like such a calm job. I really like it for you and it feels like maybe 3 months long and then there's another one. But keep putting in applications and know that you've got lots of options. And for someone I feel like you might move abroad and be given a big relocation package. I'm not sure if I said that already, but yeah, I get like a million things that come through to my head at once and I have to remember to say them all. But I feel like that's the kind of thing, like you have to multitask and communicate and you just have to remember to tell everyone everything. But yeah, there's something to do with relocating abroad and they pay for all your possessions to be moved. They pay for a new place and they pay for everything. And in the meantime, you might just want to save as much of your money as possible and do as many temporary jobs as you can. So even if there's something that's just like for 3 hours one day this week, and it's maybe like delivering one cake to one customer for a cake shop because their delivery driver's not working today and you just have to go on your bike and deliver the cake to the one customer and you get like £4. It feels like that's $4, something like that. It feels like that's the kind of thing you might have to pick up in the meantime. It's just whatever you can do. It feels like good for you to prepare you for a kind of job that involves like quick thinking and just doing this and that and varied kind of work that is also really similar day to day. I want to say, like, it's weird because you will have like a whole week where you probably do 6 different jobs in the week, but you get used to doing it. So it's like the bar job that's always the same. It's not always the same customers that come, like you meet different people every day, so that's varied. They all want different drinks or whatever, so that's varied. You learn to make different drinks. It's like that. Maybe it's not even the same bar every day. It's like a different bar every day in a different part of the city every day. But you do just do bar work. It's not like you're suddenly asked to do like the cleaning all of a sudden when you're used to just like serving drinks. Like you're suddenly put out of your comfort zone. It's more like you can plan your day and you can prepare and your schedule's okay and you feel like managing everything and you have breaks when you need a break. You're not rushed off your feet. You pretty much can stay in the same place all day. Maybe you just have to go somewhere else at the end of the day to do something else. Like you might be a receptionist by day and then work in a call centre at night. And maybe at the weekends you do stewarding for an event where it's like a fun club event and you just have to stand there and let people know where the toilets are or make sure they've got like a drink cover or something. Yeah, I feel like you have like a job maybe handing out flyers as well that you do like one day per week and you just put flyers through people's door. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the reading. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment to let me know how it resonated for you. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And check out the information in the description box if you would like personal reading. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.